Hey, we're back. Can you believe it? Christmas has happened. It was lovely. And now we're telling more stories about Jesus the baby. And this is a story that's about Jesus being presented at the temple. So this is something that happened with him being a baby, that they would go through sort of like his naming and all this stuff. So he's coming to the temple for his blessing. So Amelia will be reading that and we will be reflecting on it. So Harvey, let's give this a listen, okay? Mia, you're on.
Simeon and Anna. There was an old man named Simeon who lived in Jerusalem. Simeon loved God. He knew God's words and believed God's promises. He made God a promise to Simeon. God promised Simeon that he would not die until he saw the person God was sending to save the world. One day, Simeon went to the temple. At the temple was very crowded. Many people were there. Mary, Joseph, and baby Jesus were there too. Simeon looked around. When Simeon saw the baby Jesus, he got very excited.
Excited. Why is he excited, do you think? Oh, right. What's Simeon's deal? He's been told he will not die until he sees this, like, new Messiah. And he's very old, and all of a sudden, I've seen somebody, and he's special. So Jesus already is making this impact. Something about him is just obvious. Let's hear it.
Could Jesus be the one? Simeon pointed at baby Jesus and asked, "May I hold him?" "Carefully," said Mary.
Ooh, carefully. Look. Soft gloves, okay? Kid gloves. Kid gloves means goat gloves.
Simeon carefully picked Jesus up and began praising God. Simeon said, "God, you have kept your promise. You have let me see the one you promised to send. He will save the whole world." Mary and Joseph were amazed. Was Jesus part of God's promise to save the world?
Wait a minute. Was he? Yeah, angels already told both of them this was going to happen. But I think what they're like, okay, so angels showed up before Jesus was born and was like, "Hey, Jesus is coming. He's going to be great. It's your little baby." Then it's born. I guess you still get caught up in like, we still have to raise him. And it's kind of like, you're so caught up in how adorable it is, you forget that, like, no, he is not just a little baby and will someday be the Messiah. He is the Messiah, currently the Messiah. He's going to change everything. And he's so obviously the Messiah that when this old guy sees it, are you copying me?
When this old guy sees it, are you copying me?
No.
Yes, it's great. I like it. He talks with his hands too. It's when this old man sees it, he's like, "Yo, that's him. That's him." And they're going, "Is it that obvious? Like, what's written on him that says Messiah?"
Yeah.
How'd they spot it so obviously?
Yeah. Like, what?
Something special about that baby. I've seen cute babies before, but Jesus must have put off a glow or something, because Simeon's like, that's special that even Mary and Joseph were like, how did he spot him out of all these kids? How did he spot him and know his story? Who can say? Who can say? All right, let's hear more. Keep listening.
"What does this mean?" Joseph asked. "How can this be?" Simeon talked about God's promise with Mary and Joseph. Then he blessed Jesus and his family. An old woman named Anna was also at the temple. Anna lived at the temple. She worshipped God and prayed day and night. When Anna saw Jesus, she rushed over. She knew Jesus was special. Would Mary and Jesus let Anna hold Jesus too?
What? Wait. 2 times now. 2 very faithful people have gone, "Have you seen that baby? That baby's something. He's got to be glowing. He's got to glow or something. Or have a halo. I don't know." Go ahead. Sorry, I keep interrupting. But this is just such a neat story that it wasn't just when Jesus, like, in this story, Jesus doesn't grow up to become something. He was like, obvious. Go ahead.
Could Mary let Anna hold Jesus too? Yes, Mary said, and Anna began praising God too. She told everyone who would listen, Jesus is the one God promised to send. Jesus will save the world. Then Anna handed Jesus back to Joseph. Take good care of him, Anna said. Oh, we will, said Joseph. What an exciting day. When Mary and Joseph finished at the temple, they took Jesus home to Nazareth. Jesus grew up in Nazareth. He became strong and wise, and God was always with him.
Good story. Good story. Thanks for telling that. So, what?
Thanks.
This is neat. This is a neat. Here, there, you can sit with me. Okay, so in this story, we've got Jesus came into the world. We had that on Christmas. We've heard the story that Jesus shows up, and it's really a cool story about stars and stargazers and angels talking to shepherds, all this neat stuff. This goes into it that, like, there was something about him all the time that kind of made people say, hey, who is that? And when he gets older, people would say, when he'd teach, they'd say, he teaches as somebody, he's got something about him. He doesn't teach the same way the Pharisees and Sadducees do. He speaks as someone with authority. Something about Jesus. Isn't that neat? It's something about his, like, vibe or essence that people just recognize. I just think that's such a neat story, and how exciting it is that God doesn't wait to start changing the world, but shows up in the world and starts changing the world through this child even. And that's something for all of you guys to hear. Kids may think, you're not going to have some impact on the world until you get older. What are you going to be? Well, what are you going to be? What about what you are? Right now, you are a student, right? Mm-hmm. Right now, you are a daughter and a friend, right? And that's what you are too. And you have the capacity to affect the people around you. What are the things that people would say about you when they see you? They might not go, oh my gosh, can I hold them? They're clearly the Messiah. But one of the things about being a disciple is that they will know us by our love. So you don't have to wait to make an impact in the world, to affect the people around you. It's my challenge to you guys who are all listening. As you go into the world, as you live out your days, how do you live as a person of peace? How do you live as a person who does justice, who loves kindness, who walks humbly with your God, practices humility, defends those who are voiceless? You have the capacity to change the world. You have the capacity to change the world. You have the capacity to change the world. And not just in the future, but now, right now, you have the capacity to affect the people around you and how you love and how you care. Cool? I know you'll think of some way this week to be an instrument of God's peace in the world. Jesus was that, and people recognized it right away. What are people going to recognize about you that embodies the spirit of Jesus, of mercy, of peace? I know you will. Go team. Bye.
Bye. Bye.